Okay, Adobe Illustrator. This is where we turn our sketches and our loose ideas into final vector graphics. Okay, you get the main homepage, click New File, New Document. You can choose a bunch of different presets. I just like this square one to start with. I'm going to do just a logo here. And so 2500 by 2500 pixels is just fine. When Illustrator pops up, you will get this main UI page right here. And we don't need a lot of this stuff right now. We can just collapse a lot of these. We'll get to them in a little bit. Just dock it right down here is fine. Okay, so the main thing you'll notice is that it gets a big artboard right here. And I can hold Alt and then zoom out to move around. I can click in the middle mouse wheel to pan so I can get a good scope of things. So good thing to know this big like gray area, the darker gray one, nothing that I do on this area will export if I go to File and then Export at the end. Only what happens in these artboards right here. So let's go ahead and save this. I'm gonna save this where it belongs, which is gonna be Flannery's logo, and then save. And then, yep, that's fine. And then I like to use layers a lot in every piece of software that I use. So if I open up the layers panel right here, then I will have an option to use these layers. So the first one I'm going to have is my reference image, ref image, and this is keep things nice and tidy. And so then I'm going to have the feather, and then I'm going to have the letter F. And this will make sense in a second when you see what we'll be working on here. So I will activate this bottom layer by selecting it. I know it's active because of the little tab right there. And I will go find this little sketch that I've done, and I will just literally drag and drop it into Illustrator. I will hold shift while I resize it so that it fits on the artboard, and that's fine right there. And then I will, let's see here, I will make this a little transparent. I'll turn the opacity down to 25%. And then I'm going to lock this layer by clicking this box. Boom, locked. So now if I draw on top of this, it won't mess with the actual image. So essentially in this logo, I've got two elements. Whatever you're vectorizing, particularly your tile design, you'll have a bunch of different layers, and you should be as organized as possible. But for here, I'm just going to separate this into two just to make it easy. So I will activate my feather layer, and I'm just going to do the outside here. And then now it's time to start drawing. It's time to start making vector graphics. So I will tap P for the pen tool, and I'll get this cool little, pen nib looking thing. And you'll notice that the way that you click and how long you click and what you do after you click and drag really matters. So if I just click once, just once, I'm gonna get a straight line anywhere it goes off. And if I click again, I will get a straight line, no curves. I just clicked once, a nice precise, boom, see, boom. I'm not dragging, I'm just clicking and then moving around and then come back. Now watch this. If I get into this anchor point and each little vertex is called an anchor point. If I just hover and I get that little like circle to the bottom right of the pen nib, that means it will close that loop and create a full, like a fold in, like a fill. It calls it a fill. Illustrator works on strokes and fills. So now this shape, this vector shape, is a fill. It is totally filled in. It's whatever shape I made it to be. Over here on the left side, you can see fill and stroke. And this is, I can change the fill of this by clicking here and then changing whatever color I want that to be, right? And you can get really crazy with colors in Illustrator. There's a whole bunch of things you can do. We'll just do this for fun. And then, yeah, oh, there we go. And then I can change the stroke if I choose this little outline right here. And see it comes in front of the fill. So that if I double click this, then I can change what that stroke's going to be. And you can only barely see it. Here, I'll make it cyan so you can really see it. But I will make that stroke bigger by coming over here to the properties panel and changing the stroke over here up. And it's going to make that bigger and bigger and bigger. So the strokes and fills, really important to know in Illustrator. But if I wanted to do curves, I would tap P for the pen tool and I will click and drag. I will hold down my click. So now I'm holding down a click and I got these weird like handles. These are called handles. And what it's about to make, if I let go, now it's going to want to make some weird curve. So these are called Bezier curves based on the math that's going into this input and output. And if I click and hold again, like I'm holding down that mouse button, this is why you need a mouse. You can't do it on trackpad. Then it's going to make a really crazy curve. And a lot of Illustrator is getting really good at how to do these curves. So if I come here, I'll let go. And now it wants me to do another curve because I had held down that previous one. And even from here, it's important to note that I can change the color of my stroke and my fill at any time. do whatever I want to do. So if I want to draw a straight line from here, I will come and click this anchor point, and it will put it back into straight line mode. Okay, so straight line mode here. But if I want to do any more, so the middle mouse wheel to pan over any more curves, I will click and hold down and drag my mouse around to get the curves that I want. This will be really important here in a second. When you see, we'll go straight line again, straight line, boom, and fill it in by getting that circle again. Those are nonsense, but that's just to show you how it works. But all of that fidelity will come in, and precision will come into play when I want to do this feather. So I'll keep those there just for fun. But it's time to do the feather. So I will be on the feather layer. I will tap P. I will do a solid black fill. All logos need to be tested in black and white, and I will do no stroke. So I'll do none right here. And then I'm going to start drawing. I'm going to draw right here at the tippy top of my sketch. Click once. Actually, I'm going to click and hold so I can make this a curve because I know I want this to immediately curve. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to start tracing. So I'll click and hold, and I will pull over until the line behind it starts to match. So this area starts to match right there. It looks about right. And this just takes a little getting used to. So I'll click and hold again. And I'm not quite getting that area out here that I like, but I'll come back and fix that later. So now I've got nothing held down, but I'm still in pen mode. And I will click and hold again and get that. Yeah, that one worked out really nice. And let's see if I can get all the way to this inner line right here. Click and hold. Yeah, that should be just nice. Now, if I want to snap back this way to make this like other feather point here, I will click this anchor point. And now I'm back in straight line mode, but I'm not going to do a straight line. I'm going to click and hold. Oh, I'm going to Control Z because I need more room. I will click and hold until I get that. You're kind of drawing backwards here with the line. And it takes a while to remember to figure out what are handles and what's the vector line that's going to draw. So it's a little confusing. Come in fill mode. I will put it in no fill and a stroke. And I'll make the stroke an obnoxious purple just so we know what's what. Okay, and I'm just going to draw the outline here. So I will, this is silly. I don't want to draw up here. So I'll click back here. And I've got two curves. I got a double curve. I've got a curve here and a curve going back here. So I'll probably hit right there, click and hold, and then come down here and then click and hold. And I'll probably have to come back. Oh, it actually looks pretty nice. Click back here, double curve. So click and hold, click just once, actually turns out pretty nice. And I'll click again to go back this way. Okay, we're getting pretty close. Yeah, I want to keep it right. Oof, right there. And then click and hold. Click and big drag. Not liking that. Control Z out of that and try again. Yeah, much better. And in this class, if you take me for other classes, you will learn that I'm all about working from authentic sketches. And so that is what I'm trusting. I'm trusting that my sketches are what is alive and that I'm just coming in to cement and finalize what is working in the sketch. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll come up and I'm gonna hit this curve. And then this one, I'm gonna try and go a little faster here. It's probably getting a little repetitive for you. And we'll hit right about here. That's good. Click to go back into this mode. And it's looking pretty good. Yep. I know at this point, it's kind of like watching someone cut grass with scissors, but that's the nature of this game. We have to practice control. We have to earn control in these programs. It just takes some time. But once we have control over the technology, we have control about how to produce our original design ideas. And that's what software is all about. It's about making your ideas real in the world. And it starts with great thinking, which comes from great reading and great sketching. And then we have to have control over the tools that make it real in the world. Okay, there we go. There's the feather. It's not perfect yet, but I will come in and I can use, okay, so there's two ways to select. There's V and A. There's the V selection tool, which makes my mouse cursor arrow black, then A, which makes it white. If I'm in V mode and black, then I can select this whole object at once. If I'm in A mode, I will select individual anchor points along what I've drawn. That's a big distinction in Illustrator. So I want to chisel up how some of these look, and I'm going to do that by doing V and selecting it and getting rid of the stroke and turning this all black, and that way I can really look at what is going on here. And I can see that it's, why are you doing that? Let's go this way. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's just make it this color. And I can see that it's kind of wonky in some places. Like this doesn't make a lot of sense. These curves aren't as smooth as I want them to be. So I will come in with A and click these anchor points, and I will begin to smooth these out. And I can see that this isn't quite doing what I want it to. If you ever have Bezier curves crossing each other at any point, that means you're doing something that makes the math off. So something's a little wrong. So I'm going to come back and match the sketch there. Come back and find that anchor point, bring this one in. And then now I'm just massaging this into place. And I definitely won't do this whole thing right here in this video. I will finish it up later, but you can see how I'm coming in and making edits, essentially based on feel at this point. Like some of these things just feel wonky. And I can also test to see, yeah, like it was a little too bulbous right there. That's okay. I can come back and fix all that later. The point here was for you to see how the pen tool works and how I can make edits later. I could probably thicken this up to match the sketch there. That'll make a lot of sense later. Okay, so now if I want to work on the letter F, I can turn off the feather layer and I can see what's happening here. I know that I need to cut a hole right here, so I will open my feather layer and let's see, make this 50% opaque so I can see through it. And now I'm going to show you the Pathfinder tool. So if I do L for elliptical or for ellipse and then draw a circle, shift it up, I can draw a nice circle in the middle of here. And what I'll probably do is come back and draw that outside of this feather with an actual circle. That way it's nice and symmetrical and not bulbous like that. But I want to punch a hole in this vector. I can select both of these things and then use the Pathfinder tool. Or, okay, well, I guess I can do two things. I can do Shift M to do Shape Builder. So Shift plus M, and you'll see that it's going to gray out and hatch out either one of these. If I hold down Alt and I click the circle, boom, it's going to punch a hole in my feather to look like that. And so this is now the logo. Or if I didn't want to do that, if I didn't want to use the Shape Builder tool, which the Shape Builder tool is this thing right here, I could also use Pathfinder, which, let's see, where's my Pathfinder? Window, Pathfinder. And if I select both of these, I now have an option to cut out or merge these, however these want to work, based on how these things are. So this one wants to exclude the middle area. So if I choose this one to exclude, boom, it'll cut out that middle thing, same thing. But there's other options here as well. If I want to do this one, it'll only keep the middle circle. Yep. And there's a bunch of different options here. You can just cut them and they both exist as two different things. Yeah, like that. We're using A. But what I want to do is select both and exclude the middle part, just like that. So that's pretty good. Great. So now I have my feather. Even though she's wonky, I will fix all that later. I promise. Because you can't submit this to a client if it's not right and not great. And right now it's not quite there. Okay, so from here, I can lock the feather layer. This is good for now. And come in and start building the F, which will take a lot more time and attention. So I'll just get it started here. And I will tap P. I'll do this in a different color, just so we know what we're working with. And this is good as place to start as any. Click and drag, click and drag. And you notice that the anchor points and the lines are a different color. They're green. That's because my layer is green right here. Click and drag, and it's the same process. It's the same process, just a little more detailed because I'm doing typography. And you want to get as long as lines as possible. So if I can get this whole swoop in one, in one line, Control Z to undo, then I'll do that. That way that's nice and smooth and I don't have any problems. Then I'll just restart right here and do that. That's probably what I should have done. Let's see, I can change the opacity of this a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Yep. Cool. So I'll stop there because I'm not going to do this whole thing. I want to show you text. Let's see. I will add this, and I will add a layer for text, and it's active because the little thing is notched. And I will tap T, and then hold this down. If I go text box, and I'll just type ATX. Control A to select all of it, and change this to, I don't know, whatever makes it fit. 100's not enough. 125 is about right. And let's see, I'll make the text box a little bigger. Hold A, and you can change the font here. And I know that I want IMFL, yeah, double Pico Roman, just to try that out. Ooh, actually don't like that. I will do Futura as a placeholder, and no space bars in there. I will come over here and change the kerning, VA, right here. Let's do 50, not enough, 150, good for now. So you can see this logo is starting to take shape a little bit. Feather needs some work, F needs to be finished, but once I get this all done and not all tidied up, I can come in and add some grunge to it, whatever befits the brand, and then I will pair it next to a much larger logo type. Let's see, if I do Shift O, I can make another artboard here. I will hold Alt, stop, Control Z, I will hold Alt, and then Shift drag over, and I will copy all this over to make another artboard that's about this big. And then I will come in here and do like the larger logo. And this might be IMFO. I'm not entirely sure yet. We'll find out. Let's see, I'll leave it right there. Change kerning back to 50. Okay, now watch this. Here's a fun thing. I come in here and then do object. Well, just leave it right here. Leave it right here, and I'll just change the font to size like 500 or something. And then that will pair next to this, and hopefully everything will work out. Let's just see what it would look like next to it. Yeah, once it's all done, should be just fine. I can change the size of this by selecting these anchor points and then resizing that. Oh, Control Y puts it in outline mode, which is always a little crazy. Anyway, I'm just playing around now. That's the basics. That's fill, stroke, pen tools, select, all the good stuff. I need to come in, and I'm like actually trying to design this thing right here, and I need to be teaching instead. So, okay, that's it. Hope that helps. That is like 80% of the tools they'll be using to make your vector ideas come to life. There's a bunch of cool stuff with color and doing gradients, and then doing color swatches. Illustrator is really fun. This blend mode tool is really cool. There's a bunch of cool things you can do, but those are for other videos. Okay, thanks. Hope that helps.